start playing, it'll probably be like 6:03. It's going to be the very first thing because it has to be before she comes.
Next time. So where did you go? If not the Red Onions.
Well, we actually had a brunch.
Escobar still? I really do want to come. My cousin is going to somewhere organization on the first season. Because we've been trying to play this football. I really do want to come. I've never been to Madison. So she goes to the University of Wisconsin. And my cousin, we've been talking for like 2 years now. So I've been trying to do the trip to Madison to see her. Because I'm really good. But this year, it was your last year. My last chance. Oh, I thought you were, do you want to join me for Madison? Do you want to make a road trip? How far is it?
Welcome, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you to this amazing davening team.
All together.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So, it's officially Elul, which means that it's the time that we turn our hearts and our souls toward holidays, toward 5787, which will be here before we know it. With that in mind, I'm going to call up Michael Saylor to the front of the room, and Kenny you're going to stand in the front of the room? Okay, Mike, I'm going to call up Michael and Kenny. Can you guys stand right up front here then? And I'm going to ask everyone to please rise. Because every day during the month of Elul, we take the time to sound the shofar. We don't start on Rosh Hashanah, because if you don't start turning your heart to the new year until Rosh Hashanah, then it's already too late. But Elul just started yesterday, everyone, so you might not yet have your intentions for the new year, and that's perfectly okay. This might be your first moment of thinking, what do I want from this year that is to come? But even if it's your first moment, this is the time. So as you hear these extraordinary sounds, I want you to start thinking, what is it that I want to do differently in the next year? What is it that I want to do exactly the same? Who is it that I want to talk to? What is it that I want to hold? So let's begin with the Shehechianu, because I assume for most of us this is our first time hearing the shofar this year. We say together, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Shehechianu V'Kiyimanu V'Higianu Lazman Hazeh. And we could do the blessing for sounding the shofar, which sounds like a blessing that every blessing many of you have heard, except at the end we say, Lishmoa HaShofar, which means to hear the shofar. We are so grateful that every year we have this opportunity to try again and to do just a little bit better. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Kidshanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu Lishmoa HaShofar. Tikiyah, Shvarim, Trua, Tikiyah, Thank you, everyone. May this Elul be a month filled with reflection and planning and change and growth. You may be seated as we begin to welcome in Shabbat, page 24, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeit Chilei Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
I'd like to call up the Schenk Genshaft family to help light the candles for Shabbat. Whoever wants to come from the family, this is not a requirement. On page 2 in your prayer books, in honor of Sophie's birthday this week. Wait, what was it? Yesterday, it was 21. 21st birthday, wow, this week. And as they're all coming up, I would just like to thank our extraordinary davening team this evening. They are always extraordinary, but even more so. We had a little switcheroo this week, and they all are here at the last minute. We are so grateful, and especially to Todd, who is our new drummer here all the way from Breckenridge. Welcome, Todd. So thank you to everyone. Page 2 will be lighting the candles together. It's our fault. No, it's the... Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, everyone. We're going to continue. We're going to bring in the light. Or Zarua, Psalm 97, the last, page 14, the last 4 lines on page 14.
See
going to turn to page 20 right now and sing Lecha Dodi. And as we do, I want to tell you a little story. I had the most Aspen of experiences this week, which is that I got to go to a brunch in a private home while being sort of serenaded by a quintet from the music school, of people from the musical. And it was amazing to watch these 4 young men from college play piece after piece after piece of classical music, because what would happen is they would actually play requests, from those of us who were at the brunch. And for every one of the requests, 1 or 2 of them would know the piece, but the other 2 wouldn't know it. And so they would each airdrop the piece to each other, on their iPads. And one of them would whisper, okay, I'll start, and then you go here, and then I'll go there, and then I don't understand classical music, so I had no idea what they were doing, but it was still extraordinary to watch the dance that happened before the music even began, and how they were all these sort of boy men, who were 20 years old, were carrying each other from piece to piece to piece. And as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, wow, to me, this dance is the kind of community I want to create, especially for those of us who come together on Friday night as a bunch of disparate people. Some of us do know each other, some of us do know the tunes, some of us don't know each other, some of us do know Hebrew, some of us don't know the prayers, but each of us is bringing one piece of knowledge to add to the whole that we can each sort of airdrop to each other so that the sum can be greater than its parts. And so as I'm listening to them play, and I'm writing all these notes on my phone so that I can, relay this all to you on Friday night, I'm thinking about this prayer that we're about to sing, because some of you will know the words, and some of you will know the history, and some of you will know the tune. And so whichever piece of this prayer that we're about to do, I hope you bring it out, because together, all of us will be one community. So sing out whichever part of this tune or prayer you know. Page 20, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
התעוררי, גבעה אורך קומי אורי, אורי שיר דברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, להדות תהי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. להדות תהי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please rise and face the entrance as we welcome in the Sabbath brides, as you welcome in all the disparate parts of yourself that come together on Shabbat. Verse 9.
בואי לשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, להדות תהי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. להדות תהי לקראת כלה, פני שבת
Please remain standing. Page 28, we enter into the evening service with the Baruch. Please be seated. Every once in a while, when I see three women up here leading services, and the 75,000 female rabbis that we have here in the Roaring Fork Valleys. I imagine our Jewish female ancestors from just 100 years ago and what they must be thinking up there in the heavens. It's really such a blessing. Anyway, speaking about blessings, we turn to page 32 right now and sing about love, Ahavat Olam.
אהבת העולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, באורך ימינו, להם נגד יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה.
Page 34 through page 36, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 40 is the Micha Mocha, the prayer of redemption.
כהים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני, אדוני ילך לעולם ועד, אדוני ילך לעולם ועד, אדוני ילך לעולם ועד, אדוני ילך לעולם ועד.
We're going to turn to page 42, sing the Hashkivena prayer. Now, every single person in this room has either had a child or been a child, or both. And so you know that feeling of either tucking your child into bed at night or having one of your parents tuck you into bed at night. That's the feeling we're going for with this prayer. And the idea is that we are praying that people all over the world, not just our own children, our own people, feel that feeling of God's presence tucking them in safely, wherever they are, whether they're in the middle of danger or not, that they feel God's presence protecting them, whether they are in danger, whether they are in homes, whether they are out in the elements, that they feel like they are being tucked in safely by God out in the world. The Hashkivena on page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomrei, nu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomrei, nu lechaim. Ushmor teitenu, u'oeinu, nechaim u'shalom, ve'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomrei, nu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomrei, nu lechaim.
Please rise. We turn to page 44. We're starting to turn our hearts toward the Amidah, but we do that first by just giving thanks for being here tonight for Shabbat V'Shamru, top of page 44.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat, la'asot et haShabbat ledortam berit olam. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat, la'asot et haShabbat ledortam
Amidah begins on page 46, and then we'll go into quiet through page 62.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Agir, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your
Please be seated. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'll begin with a little story, which is that a few days ago, I was biking back to the chapel from downtown, and I made a left onto West Hopkins, and it was a little bit too tight, and there was a guy who was making a right turn at the same time, and we were just like, we were like at least 5 or 6 feet away from each other, but it was a little bit too close for comfort. And as many of you know, I am a person who is very comfortable with a curse word or two. But what came out of this man's mouth was something that I had never heard in my entire life. And it brought out like the Philadelphian in me. And so I turned to this guy and I was ready to rumble. But then I did the little practice that I always do, which is I realized 2 things, right? The first thing I realized is this man could be a congregant. But then the second thing I realized is I scared him. So he wasn't thinking straight. And so instead, when I turned around, I apologized and I just biked on. Because here's the thing that we all know about fear. Like when you get scared, your nervous system floods immediately. And so fear is at first, it's not something that happens in your brain. Fear is at first something that happens in your body. And evolutionarily, that's actually really important, right? Because if you are trying to outrun a moose, can you outrun a moose? Okay, I am still new here. I am still learning. If you are trying to outrun a fox, you can outrun, no? Oh, for God's sake, people. If you are trying to outrun Ari Chase, right? All right, you actually need that adrenaline, right, to start moving fast. But that same adrenaline actually doesn't help you if you are, for instance, about to speak in front of a bunch of people and your body starts shaking. I think we actually all already understand the science of that. Those are the easy cases when it comes to fear being helpful or unhelpful. But there are actually also some cases which are a little bit more complicated. Like, for instance, when you can't tell if the fear that you're feeling is because of something real, you have crucial and factual information, or whether this fear belongs to something that actually happened a very, very long time ago and has no bearing on the actual room you're in, right? Like, one obvious example of this is like, if you grew up in a family in which when you heard two people yelling at each other, it was a sign of terrible things to come, and still as an adult, whenever you hear two people yelling at each other, you assume something in your body, even though you don't really know what's about to happen. So how are we actually supposed to know when fear is supposed to be heeded, and when it's supposed to be noticed, and when it's actually just supposed to be let go? So our Torah portion this week has one set of answers, and it turns out to be in the least likely of places. It's in a set of military regulations about which soldiers are allowed to skip a war if they so choose. We are, as many of you know, in the book of Deuteronomy. This week's Torah portion is called Shoftim, and it describes what happens as the Israelites are gearing up for battle. So first, the high priest is giving all the soldiers like exactly the kind of speech that you would expect. He says this: "Hear, O Israel, let not your courage falter. Do not be in fear or in panic or in dread of them." That's like your standard issue, be brave. I assume this is the type of stuff that's still said to this very day. But then, interestingly, there's a whole other set of officials that step up and they start sending soldiers home. This is what they say. They say to the soldiers, "Is there anyone here who is betrothed but not yet married? You all can go home. Is there anyone here who has planted a vineyard but hasn't yet harvested the fruit? You all can go home. Is there anyone here who has built a house but has not yet dedicated it? You can all go home." I mean, these are quite lovely exemptions. If there's anyone there who is sort of in a just starting out your life period, don't risk your life in battle. Instead, go home and start your life. Okay. But then there is this very interesting fourth exemption that is presented. Is there anyone here, and remember, they're speaking to a bunch of soldiers, about to go into battle. Is there anyone here who is afraid and disheartened? Go home. So that's it. That's the whole qualification. No one is ever asked to justify their fear or what they're feeling. They just get to go home. And so, of course, as you can imagine, the rabbis are obsessed with this line because they want to understand it. And so in the Mishnah, we're going back about 2,000 years here, there's a rabbi named Yossi, and he looks at these first three exemptions about the house and the betrothal and the grapes, and he says something remarkable. He says, "Lefikach talta lo haTorah et kol elu." Therefore, the Torah hung all of these on him. So I'm going to translate that into English for you. What this Rabbi Yossi here is saying is that the house and the vineyard and the bride are actually only a disguise. And they only exist so that the man who is frightened can actually walk out of the camp and have everyone else assume that he has grapes to tend, and not that he's actually scared. So I love this. I love that the Torah built for this man a cover story. It assumed that he'd be a little bit embarrassed that he was so scared, and it spared him. It's very sweet, right? Okay, but to the rabbis, because of the rabbis, they continue. They want to know, what is exactly the fear that this man carries? Because they are the rabbis in the Talmud, they offer not one, but two different answers. First, we have Rabbi Akiva, who says, like the obvious answer, what's the fear that the guy carries? He's going into war. So Akiva says, it's a fear of the sword. He has a sword in front of him. That is his fear. But then the same Rabbi Yossi says, no. It's not about the sword that is facing him. In fact, this man is afraid that because he is certain that something from his past is going to lead him to be punished in the current moment. So there are two fears here, right? One responds to the threat right in front of you, right now. But the other one is a callback to a historical moment that makes the present look a lot scarier than it actually is. Some of you know I'm obsessed with the psychologist Brené Brown. I'm sure some of you are as well. And she has this really great teaching on how to get free of worry. It has 2 steps. I'm going to teach them to you. This might be the most important thing you hear all night. 2 steps for how to get free of worry. Step number 1, find out whether the data that you have actually warrants freaking out. Number 2, find out whether freaking out is actually going to help you. It's pretty simple. And the rabbis in this instance are actually asking something pretty close, right? They say, when we are afraid, first of all, ask yourself, is there an actual sword right in front of me? Or am I in this moment dredging up something from the past that is making me more afraid than this moment actually requires? And then you act on the facts, not the feelings, because the feeling is going to be real either way. Fear is contagious. And we know this because the Torah makes that explicit in this Torah portion as well. You know, if we go back to these 4, all right, if this, then go home. If that, then go home. Okay, so the 4th one is, if you're afraid, then go home, right? We all remember that, but that line continues as follows. So if you're afraid, go home, and the reason is, v'lo yimas et levav echav kilvavo, so that this one who goes home will not melt the hearts of his brothers the way his own heart has melted. This is what psychologists call emotional contagion. You don't catch someone's fear by agreeing with the facts, research has proven. You catch someone's fear when you are in the same room with it. The facts are less important than the physical proximity of the person who is afraid. Which adds a 3rd question to the 2 we've already asked this evening, which is, if I am feeling fearful, is this actually true to my own lived experience, or did I catch this fear from someone else? Because that is to a certain extent what happened on West Hopkins, right? I didn't think we were going to collide at all. I knew there was enough room for us to go past each other, but my body went into fear/anger mode right away because of this man who I passed. And he went into that mode right away. And I was actually kind of lucky that we were both on bikes so that we didn't stop, because we didn't have time for my heart to melt into his heart, because who knows what would have happened, and that it would not have been good, certainly for me. I was much smaller than him. But anyway, we live right now in a very tenuous moment for us as the American Jewish community, and it's not going to get any easier anytime soon. So tonight, as we speak to each other, I actually don't want to offer you any answers at all, but I do want to offer us as a community a few questions to help guide us through the weeks and months ahead. Because sometimes there actually is a sword. And obviously, some of what is happening in the American Jewish community right now is an actual sword, and it is not imagined. And when that is happening, our tradition has no interest in talking us out of it, nor do I. But not all of it is an actual sword. We are a people with a very long memory, and some of that is a gift, But some of that is also a pretty reliable machine for producing dread. And right now, in our group chats and in our feeds, we are to a certain extent melting each other's hearts. It's not always factual information. Sometimes it's just contagion. So as we enter into Elul together and start turning our hearts to 5787, I do just want to offer us a few questions. First of all, when is there actually a sword in front of us? When are we dredging up a past that is not actually in the room? What have we caught from other people? And who are we about to hand it to? And maybe because we're Jews and we love 4 questions, I'm just going to add a 4th question, which is, when I can't tell what the answers to the first of the 3 questions are, and we should all have the humility to know how often that is the case, who do I trust to help me figure this all out? So if you're looking for a kavanah for these next few weeks, between tonight and Rosh Hashanah, perhaps it can be this. Let's locate the real swords and do battle together. Let's locate our real feelings and honor them. Let's locate the well of courage that we all have, and it is deep, and we share it together. And let's locate the person or people who can help us tell the difference on the days when we can't. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to turn to page 253 for the Mishaberach. I'd like to call up Barry Salke to help us hold the Torah this evening. Please rise if you are able. As we call to mind those people who we love, and even those we don't know very well, who are in need of a healing of body or a healing of spirit. Tonight we're thinking of Dorothy Morrison, Dwayne and Sharon Williams, Larry Bogatz, Elsie Camargo, Debbie Robertson, Kim Rosenstein, Carol Kafin, David Clark, E.J. Williams, Harav Miriam Yael Batsara, Noram Avraham Ben Atara Shlomit, Brenda Stern, Warren Klein, Mary Claire Garrity, John Crystal, Jeff Siegel, Jane Sheff, Bob Rothenberg, Sakura Fabianek, Lainey Fabianek, Sarah Bat Leibel Wolf of Batja, Avraham Ben Mordechai, Yehudit Bat Miriam, Carolyn Jacobs, Patrick McBride, Bobby Zacharia, Polly Tuig, Susie Bitz Adler, Leslie Lovitz, David Fox, Michael Halpern, Warner Knorr, Avinoam Mordechai Ben Telma, Avram Ben Natan Pesichana, Zev Yaakov Ben Reuven V'Yael, Vivian Shapiro, Jeanette Odelberg, Chana Bat Sarah Imenu, Rochelle Frisch, Harav David Avraham Ben Feigl V'Yisrael Ephraim Yitzchak. If you could please call out the names of people that you're praying for this evening, call them out into the space so we can all pray for them.
Those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Please remain standing as we put the Torah back in the ark. We're on page 282 and then page 287 for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'teit gedula l'yotzer breshit shelo asanu k'goyeh ha'aratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gohor aleinu k'chol hamonam va'anachnu korim Umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malkei hamachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim liyoser haaretz umoshav yikaro b'shamayim nimal ushlinatu zo v'kovhem meromim Eloheinu Einod Emipokenu Efesu Lato Kakatu V'Torato V'Yadata Hayom
Page 287.
V'Nemar V'Haya Adonai L'Melech al Kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu Yireh Adonai echad U'shemo echad.
Please be seated. I'd like to call up Lindsay Mace for some announcements this evening.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Well, summer is winding down, but AJC still has a ton of stuff to be excited about. Tomorrow's our last Mountaintop Shabbat. I know. Are there sad faces out there? The gondola opens tomorrow at 10. Service begins at 10:30. We hope to see you all there. Looking ahead, next week we have Cocktails and Conversation, which is going to be led by our very own Hillary Cohen. Where is she? Yep. The young Jewish adult community, there's going to be a barbecue and Havdalah in Basalt next Saturday at Karen Codd's house. Also, come on. Sorry, all right. Say goodbye to summer with us at Camp Besheret on August 28th. Rabbi Elise is going to be teaching about the shofar, and Kenny is going to be teaching us how to blow the shofar. But not to be forgotten, we're also going to have an old school Shabbat here that same night, here at the chapel. A special thank you tonight to Sharon and George Quitner, who are sponsoring tonight's Oneg in memory of Sharon's mother, Bernice Cass. Rosh Hashanah is right around the corner. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. It's just in 1 month, September 1st. Our full high holiday calendar is out. If you haven't yet, I get it. What? Sorry, September 11th. Sorry, September 11th. What did I say? Sorry, September 11th. Our full high holiday calendar is out. Registration's open. These are all at the back of the room for you guys if you haven't yet grabbed one. There's still other stuff going on as well that I didn't mention tonight, so make sure you grab the schedule. Also check our website for all of our events. And if you have any questions, come find me afterwards. Shabbat Shalom.
Remember I said that thing about all the rabbis we have, the lady rabbis we have here? So next week, 2 weeks when we're down in Camp Besheret, Rabbi Elise will be teaching Cocktails and Conversations, and rabbinic student Jen Moses will be leading services here. So our cup overfloweth, as we say here in the Roaring Fork Valley. But right now we turn for the Mourner's Kaddish to page 294. So please rise. Tonight we are remembering Susan Cadis, Stu Warner, Thelma Joseph, Alice Klein, Carol Mann, Henry Maringer, Alma Guerra, Ellen Perlmutter, Edward Stengel, Gideon Kaufman, Nick Vitti, Suzanne Scott, Hal Thaw, Debbie Bannon, Robert Baker, John Bielenberg, Jimmy Everett, Herschel Gastfreund, Eleanor Gelman, Donald Goodman, Bill Huntley, Bernice Cass, Charlotte Koresh, Judith Rubin, Robert Sharp, Morton Cheekman, Janet Solentz, and Rochelle Zell. Is there anyone else who's remembering someone whose name I didn't call out? Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei aget Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal brichu le'ela mimkol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imrumav Huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, amen. May the one who makes peace above make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who dwell on earth. And let us say, amen. We're going to turn for our closing prayer to Adon Olam, which is in your prayer books on page 321. Tonight we're going to sing just the first verse of Adon Olam. It's a tune that I'm sure many of us know at this point. Kiddush is going to be where? Does anyone outside?
Outside
Kiddush is outside, right outside on your way out. We'll be there for Kiddush and Motzi between now and then. Just the first verse, top of page 321.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'nasa v'chefzo kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'nasa v'chefzo kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, v'chefzo kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll see you for Kiddush outside. Thank you again to this amazing music team. Sophie Genschaft will miss you when you go back to college. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.